Hey everyone, Crystal here. I wanted to do a video in honor of Father's Day to share some of the things that my dad has taught me, some things I'm very grateful that he taught me. I don't want this to be long, so I'm going to go right into it. Number one, that life won't always be fair, but you'll be okay. I don't want to get into my background and this in my testimony right here at this moment because it could fill up the whole 3-4 minutes I plan on taking. But my dad knew that things were difficult for me because of the different circumstances surrounding my childhood. And even though he could have sugarcoated it and danced around it, my dad hit the nail on the head and just was very honest about, the things that you may be going through are not fair, but you'll be okay. And so, with the same dose of reality that I got, my dad gave me a dose of hope. And I really didn't have anyone at that point in my life telling me those types of things. And I really haven't had anyone since really kind of share at that level. And he really just sowed a seed when I was young so that I would be prepared to face the world, to face sadness, to face trials, knowing that it's not going to always be this way. The second thing, don't cry because someone doesn't want to be your friend. I remember I had asked one of my aunts a question when I was young. It was a taboo question, I guess, for my age, but I wanted to know. And my stepmom didn't want me to know, so I went and asked my aunt, and of course, she didn't know that I wasn't supposed to know. Long story short, when my aunt found out, she told me she didn't want to be my friend anymore. And she was like one of my favorite aunts. And although she wasn't serious, when you're a kid, that's real. That's very serious when someone tells you they don't want to be your friend anymore. So I went to my dad crying, Aunt so-and-so doesn't want to be my friend anymore. And my dad looked at me and said, don't you ever cry because someone doesn't want to be your friend. And to be honest, I don't even remember what happened after that. I just remember him looking at me almost appalled, like, why would that even bother you? Don't let that bother you. And I'm glad he did because sometimes when you're coming up, you just feel like everyone's supposed to like you, and you don't know how to handle it when someone doesn't like you. And from a young age, my dad taught me this is not how you handle someone not liking you. Okay, crying is not how you deal with that. You can make other friends. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. The third lesson that I learned from him is just the power of no. And when I say that, I'm not saying that my dad sat down with me and lectured me on, here's the power of no. No, he wasn't that kind of person. But he just said no. I didn't get every single thing that I asked for. Some of the things that I wanted, he was okay with me getting, but I had to work to get it. And that was so key for me to learn because I don't think I will understand the value of hard work if it had been the other way around. I started working when I was pretty young. I was about 14 and 9 months. Once I can get a work permit, I worked because everything wasn't handed to me. And from me working, I learned the value of a work ethic. And the truth is, if I could add another thing to the list, I learned the value of work ethic from my dad. There will be times when he worked a full-time job, working for DC police, and then working security at night. And he would sleep in his car so he can put food on the table and provide for his kids. So I'm just really grateful that he didn't tell me yes to everything, that he gave me the room to be independent enough to figure things out on my own, to learn how to make my own way. And he probably did that because he knew that there will be a time when I would grow up and he wouldn't be there. And I would need to figure things out. And thank God my dad is still here. But I'm just so grateful. A lot of people compliment me on my independence and how I'm able to maneuver. And I didn't call back home every single time something happened at school to ask for this or ask for that, because my dad helped me train my mind on how to figure it out. And if there's a way for me to get it on my own, that's the way I go to first. And so I just kind of want to share a little bit. I know that Father's Day is probably not the easiest for everybody. But if you do have a father in your life and you know that he's been there for you, acknowledge that. I didn't really get to know some of the things that my father went through as a kid. I didn't know some of the things that he had to suffer through coming up. And as I got older and I got to sit down with him and really get to know who he was, not as this man who I put this superhero cape on, but as the human that he is, it taught me a lot more about him, and it helped me to forgive in areas where I felt like, yeah, he was strong here, but there were weaknesses there. So if I could just leave you guys with anything, acknowledge the good that your father has done. If your father hasn't done the good that you think that he could do, just be grateful that he put you here, that we can be here and celebrate with you, because he was instrumental in getting you here. And let's just take the capes off of our parents. Let's remove the expectation that they have to be perfect, that they have to do everything right, because most of the time they had less information, they had less resources, and were younger than us when they had us, and really made the best decisions that they could with the information and the resources that they had. And that really is a lot of times just it. I learned to look at my parents as human beings, as a woman, as a man who had life going on, who had issues going on, who, if I were in their same shoes, I might have made the very same mistakes. Of course, this message isn't really about the mistakes of my dad or mistakes of my parents. It's not about that. But I know that a lot of people are probably struggling through that and trying to figure out how to reconcile those mistakes with being able to honor them. Funny thing about the Word of God is it says, honor your mother and father so your days may be long. It doesn't say honor your mother and father if they were there for you. It doesn't say honor your mother and father if they gave you everything you wanted. It just says honor your mother and father. No excuses, no strings attached, no expectations. So anyways, didn't mean for it to go there. I'm so grateful that I still have my father here with me, that I'm still learning about the man that he is, that he's still learning about me, and that our relationship is getting better as the years go on. And I really pray for all of you who are having issues or difficulties, that maybe today or tomorrow or next week can be the day where you take that next step in forgiveness, that next step in reconciliation, and that a couple years from now, you won't even be able to recognize the relationship that you had with your father if it wasn't one that you liked. So anyways, that's it. See you guys later. Bye.